I am so sorry, everyone. Somehow our interwebs are not working. We seem to have gotten disconnected. Hopefully, Demetrius will be joining us soon again. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining. We're really, really sorry. Technical difficulties, and we're back. And Demetrius will be joining us soon as he was speaking about his um, career paths. Undergrad. So again, thank you so much for all of you being here. And if you guys have any questions, please insert them in the chat and we will get to them at the end. Sorry, Demetrius, I'm not sure what happened.
It's cool.
So you were telling us about upon graduating, you auditioning for all these different jobs.
Yeah. I just auditioned. Um, I kind of like have the theory of, the more I show up, the more opportunities I can allow myself. So
Mm.
I wasn't really saying, I only want to do ballet companies, or I only want to do Broadway, or I only want to do one type of thing. I was just really putting myself out there and then being open to the opportunity and seeing where that got me. And as I was saying before I got cut off, my first job was actually, I did not audition for it at all. My headshot was selected out of a pile of headshots that an agency had come across because they were acquired by another company. And I guess I auditioned for that agency at a time. And I could fit the costumes. A dancer that was on the contract had taken a job in the Lion King on the West End. And he was like, gotta go. West End's calling me. Good luck finding somebody. And they called me and said, hey, can you fly out in 2 days? I had my passport. I packed up my things and went, so you have to be prepared. Another prepared moment.
You said
Um,
preparedness meets passion.
yeah. So I
And
was both, yeah, I was both passionate and prepared, and I was able to be afforded a great life changing opportunity. So
and that was for what gig specifically?
that was for a world cruise on Princess Cruises. And I traveled from Australia to New York in 4 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Because
a new
that's a
stop every
journey.
day. Yeah,
That's amazing. Having the exposure and the opportunity to see the world and do what you love at the same time. There's not many people who get that opportunity, and we try to, at MindLeaps, try to instill in our children and our students that we work with, that try to get them to understand that the importance of education and the preparedness combined with your passion will can and hopefully open up some great doors for you, things that you would never believe, could happen, but it's amazing when it does. So
I totally
congratulations
agree.
and bravo to you.
Thank you, Lamar.
So from doing cruise ships, then you go to New York to do Radio City.
Yes, so I got off the cruise ship. I moved to New York immediately. 6 months into being in New York, I booked Radio City, which is like unheard of. Like people are usually in New York for like years, auditioning. And I was able to be cast on the tour of Radio City Christmas Spectacular, which
Hmm.
was a brilliant opportunity. It's literally the gig that's still gigging, you know. I still have, you know, amazing groups of friends from that opportunity, some of which we have in common. And,
Hmm.
it's literally the biggest theater gig in New York outside of Broadway. So I'm really thankful to have done that iconic show.
Yeah, I mean, and we do have a lot of similar friends who have done that show, both
Yeah.
as a part of the performing ensemble, but also as the Rockettes.
Yeah.
And that is a very rigorous one performing schedule, but also rehearsal schedule. I mean, can you speak at greater lengths about that experience?
Yeah, so more about the preparedness and passion. Right before auditioning and booking that gig, going back to the World Cruise gig, I had to learn 8 shows in 4 weeks. And on that
Okay.
cruise ship job, I only performed each show once. So you had to have the mental agility to just pull that show to the front of your brain, perform it, and then put it away. So
Yeah.
that job prepared me to go to Radio City, where I walk into a room. There's 100 people that already know the show. I was
Yeah.
maybe one of 3 new hires, so they were looking at us like, "Hurry up and catch the step." um, so um, yeah, so like walking into that room, being being ready to deliver quickly, and remaining calm under pressure was very important, um,
Mm,
because it's such a specific show. It's a very fast turnaround, 3 to 4 weeks, and then you're in the theater. Um, yeah, and just the name alone is just a lot of pressure. So,
yeah, for
not
sure.
buckling and folding under pressure, and having to deal with being a token cast, and dealing with all of those things. It can be
Mm.
difficult, but you have to be prepared.
This is very true, and that's a level of preparedness on multiple layers. Like you talk about being prepared, one as a dancer, being two, being prepared to different. I mean, that's a lot of different shows to learn, or
Yeah.
and steps and numbers. Toe the heel, toe the
Oh, yeah.
line, heel the line, arch the
You
line,
know it. Yeah.
that type of thing. But then also as a black man, as an African American in this production, like you said, the tokenism that
Hmm.
you're one of a few, so in a line of what, 36 Rockettes, there's
Hmm.
one person of color, so how were you able to navigate that space as a black man, as an African American man, in that production?
Just having an open mind and meeting people where they are, I would say is my approach to working in that environment. Um, I think that there are some norms that you expect in working in environments that are predominantly white. So you take that in stride. You know that you're gonna come across some things that may be uncomfortable, some uncomfortable situations. Um, but I just led with the fact that I was at work,
Hmm.
and I came to do a job, and my goal was to complete the job. So I just kept my head down, and as many people do in situations like this, and went to work, put my best foot forward, shared my best self,
Hmm.
and got through it. It was a great experience.
I believe I'm sure, and definitely more than anything, probably a wonderful learning experience, but even more than that, a very humbling one. Um, and also learning and understanding your worth, and the fact that you do belong in these spaces and in these rooms because you have a lot to share and a lot to offer to
Hmm.
everyone around you. We do have a quick question though, and let's get this one in here. This is coming from Rebecca. She's asking, do you think that COVID has changed the arts forever?
I do think that COVID has changed the arts forever. Um, so turnaround times and expectations have always been um, very fast for dancers, I think. Unless you're working in commercial theater, sometimes there's maybe like, let's learn a show from scratch and we'll work on it for 4 months, and then we'll head to a theater to test it out. And that entire process to getting to Broadway or getting to a theater could be like a year, 8 months to a year.
Hmm.
But people are now considering their health, and that may not have been a consideration when people get an offer for a job in the past. So I
Hmm.
think that people are, looking at the implications or the risks of doing really close contact work.
Yeah.
And in addition to, do I want to work with these other artists, these creators, um, and is the environment safe? Um, People are taking those things a little more seriously,
Hmm.
and I think that on the back end, production and the development side of things, those things have to be insulated a little more to consider, the well-being of the person and their family, even. People have kids or husbands and things, and people don't want to go on a job, potentially get COVID, and then take that back to their family. So I think
Yeah.
that wellness in general is something that has to be considered even more in our
Hmm.
profession.
Yeah, you spoke about the like the back end, and you, after having this illustrious performing career, you then go to school to become an arts administrator. What sparked that interest?
Just going to theater in New York a lot and, reading the funding pages of playbills and
Hmm.
started, seeing organizations like American Ballet Theater or Alvin Ailey have like reoccurring years of like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but they're like already endowed. And
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, why does this large organization with an endowment need this reoccurring funding from this foundation? Why not help a struggling nonprofit or an organization that may need more insulation? So that got me wondering, well, maybe I need to be a voice to advocate for smaller organizations. And I can use my experience as a dancer that grew up in a nonprofit in Detroit, smaller organizations, and, you know, be their voice at the table.
Hmm.
So that's why I decided to study arts administration.
Wow. I mean, and that voice is so needed, especially as a black man and as a person of color, and also as an artist. Yourself. Who better to advocate for the arts than someone who is actually has practiced it or studied it
Sure.
or been a part of it to know the inequities about it.
Yeah, you'd be
Um,
surprised, like MindLeaps audience, you'd be surprised so many people, so many organizations are ran and operated, arts organizations specifically, ran and operated by people that don't even know the half of what dancers or actors go through. And they're only looking at things from one lens, which is mostly a financial lens. And there's
mhm.
lack of empathy. So that's another reason why I decided to go into the arts administration.
Do you have any ideas or one that you could possibly share? I'm sure you have many, but do you have one that you could possibly share on how we can shift that perspective of said individuals?
Yeah. One of I think my larger mission in life is to advocate legislatively more. I think that things will happen in a more swift action if they are taken on a larger scale. I think that we need to lobby more and put money towards making the arts more essential. Um, and that creates more opportunity and more exposure for us all. Yeah, that's just my basic thought about the advocacy piece legislatively. Hello? Still nothing. I can hear you now.
Demetrius, sorry about that. What is the biggest mistake small organizations make
Small
while
organization.
they're fundraising?
Not putting money aside for um, a rainy day.
Oh, well, I mean, sometimes that is very difficult when all you have is enough for the days that are sunny. I mean, we all can prepare for the rainy ones or try to, but it's not always that simple. But that is some very key advice. Another question that we have from Jasmine is, what advice would you have for artists aspiring to break into the arts administration who may not have had the educational support to transition like this?
Okay, great. Hey Jasmine, my friend. Um, so I feel like there are a bunch of free resources. You could look at fellowships. You can look at just taking general business classes. Harvard offers free classes online. I know a bunch of Ivy Leagues offer like some free certifications and additional things that you could just add on. Just add on, tack onto your resume that will bolster your business knowledge. Um, and in the arts and men world specifically, you won't learn how to do your job until you get the job. So I would say real life experience, getting your hands dirty, working, volunteering at an arts organization, and really talking to arts administrators,
Yeah.
asking them detailed questions, and just really adding to your lexicon and building knowledge from experience.
Mm. That is very good advice, Demetrius, honestly. And there are, and like you said, there are a lot of free access points that people can dive into this without having that education to acquire it.
For
I
sure.
also that, the more people volunteer, the more experience that they get to be able to offer their help and to learn. That's another way to get very good firsthand experience into these arts administrative realms.
Yeah,
Um,
most people don't know, really quick, most people don't know that most nonprofit administrators were handed or widowed into the job.
yeah.
So most people don't really know what they're doing, surprisingly. Um, so they're figuring it out as well. So that's why if you volunteer, oftentimes people are willing to teach you because they had to learn. So
Yeah.
if they see someone that has a keen interest on learning and and they're passionate about it, most times those nonprofit administrators are willing to help.
Hmm. And most recently, Demetrius, you have joined a board in Detroit. Can you share with us more about your new board membership?
Okay, so I recently joined the board of the Michigan Dance Council, and the organization has been around some 35 years, I believe, and has a mission of increasing arts access opportunities, dance specifically, for the greater Michigan area. They're under new board leadership
Okay.
by a younger person of color, which really excited me. And because generally the board was mostly white, but now the chair is a Mexican American young lady who's 30, which is a total departure from what the organization was typically led by. So they approached me, and I'm really excited to carve out new space, and discuss where we should be taking the organization in the near future. So it's going to be a fun endeavor. I'm excited.
And then also, congratulations on that first, because that is amazing. I'm looking forward to hearing all about it, and hopefully you share the progress that you all make um, with this dance council. But then also, you are now a teacher at the High School for Performing Arts in Detroit.
Yes, I am on dance faculty at the Detroit High School of Arts.
Hmm.
It's my second year. It's been going as great as it can because of COVID. Um, my students are growing and they're being exposed to tons of amazing opportunities via the network that I've developed in New York and in Philadelphia, across the world. So I'm really excited to bring the resources that I have to students in Detroit. I
Hmm.
just find it, you know, an amazing opportunity to offer um, world class arts education to urban students. It really just means a lot to me because I
Yeah.
know the spark that went off in my head when I saw like Dance Theater of Harlem, like at age 10 in Detroit. And I was like, oh, wow, So I know that art can change a life. So I'm waiting on those sparks to be ignited within my students.
Oh, that's incredible. What is one thing that you often leave with your students during every class?
Um, CTS, catch the step. I got that from Karen Brown.
Everyone,
My
for you all who don't know, Karen Brown was a principal dancer in the Dance Theater of Harlem. She also was a faculty member at the University of the Arts and is now a professor in upstate New York. Um, the name of the school is leaving me, but We love you, Karen Brown. Demetrius, first, I just, want to say thank you so much for offering your time, for sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience, your love and passion for dance and the arts. It's really, really wonderful to hear, to learn about, but also it's really beautiful to know that you have taken on so many hats and have had so many experiences that it's informed this person that you are, and that you are taking that information and informing the others, this next generation of arts dancers, leaders, educators. And I'm really glad that the city of Detroit has you, and I'm so grateful that you took time out to be here with us, and it really means a
Thank
lot.
you so much for having me, Lamar and MindLeaps.
I can't
I really
thank you enough. And purpose and passion,
and passion, people.
purpose and passion, and let's make sure we always keep that going. Demetrius, thank you so much. Everybody, please join us again next week at the same time, right here at the same place. We'll see you soon. Demetrius, you have a great weekend, okay?
You have a better one. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.